Yeah, so people are asking me, how do you heal from all of your diseases? And I've had them all, it seems. This is my channel. Why is love alien on Earth? And I reserve the right to tell my story, which is the truth. And if anybody is offended by my story, then I suggest you are brainwashed, clinically brainwashed, as the masses are. And I recognized the issue after I got my clinical hypnotherapist license in British Columbia in 2012. I met a man named Rob Hadley. Rob Hadley. He had a studio in Vancouver. He was the guy in Vancouver to go to. And we graduated from the same school. So I met him through there. And then he invited me to his offices, which were pretty good, but all rented out. You know, it was like one of those, facade offices where they set them up for him. Anyway, he also owned Harlequin Hypnosis, which is a show. And he had a whole team of people to work with him on the show. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, Harlequin in Vancouver. So that's Rob Hadley. And we became colleagues, I guess, if you will, until I began to wonder if he had any talent whatsoever, because he always used a tape. He didn't want to face the client or something. I don't know. I didn't like how he did the hypnosis. They're all into the clown ones are into snap the finger type, and you think you're a donkey or something. That's ridiculous. And anyone who does that knows exactly what they're doing. Unless they're literally allowed to put their brain aside completely in their own heart and mind. To me, it's insanity. So, anyway, if you are offended by my story, then you belong with the masses who have been brainwashed by words Suggestions. Suggestions are hypnosis. And neuro-linguistic programming is when you obey commands that actually work against you. That hurt, that make you suffer, that put fear in you. You hold on to that. For dear life, you hold on to something. Because you don't know who your God is or what they're going to come up with next for you, for a rule. Yeah, Moses' rules sure did delta, didn't they? They just moved like rivers throughout the world, or veins, if you will. But what happened to me was unreal. I was just toddling along my life, normal, horrible life. And my son had died, and I, pretty much lost my family because my feelings ran so deep. My son was my only opportunity for love, really. Because to me, in my story, love has been alien on Earth. I've been, offending the offended since I was born. People are offended when I go off grid and do it my way, and they don't like me for that. I don't know why. You tell me, maybe in comments. Maybe I am all wrong, right? Like, maybe I do need help. So why don't you tell me in the comments what's wrong with me? And then I can at least go from there. But when it's just in the background, oh, she's this, oh, she's that, then you put a label on me, right? And a label is a judgment. And so, for example, anybody who thinks of a bipolar person thinks about a maniac, right? Because that's how it was described. Their new label. They come up with new languages and new words. And how better to do it than in medicine, when the general public wouldn't know if they're making up words. Like borderline people. Well, I said, what's borderline what? They never told me. They only gave me a word, and they didn't know the rest. They really, literally didn't know. But they know the word. and they know I belonged there. And that's how judgment works. If you remember your scripture, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the gospel, which, translate to the truth, right? It's the gospel truth. So we'll go look at that, and it's all in the word there in red for some reason. And he talks about the hardening of the heart. He said, before you worry about all your rituals, you want to know that you don't have a hardened heart. You see, a hardened heart is removing the sense of reality, your reality, because everybody here, you, me, Jesus, everyone, we're all one, living our lives in a reincarnated way. And Jesus taught people how to meditate. And what he taught went back to the Buddha day. He studied Buddhism and other ancient things. And what he didn't like was the worship of idols. He didn't like Buddha. He wasn't a Buddha. So he preached against the worship of idols. And, today Buddha is all about gold and being fat and whatnot. It's not a good idol to look at. Why? It's hypnosis. It gets you to focus on an idol. And then your brain will get hooked on it. And you'll actually become fat and made of gold. That's a hardened heart, right? So, anyway, yeah, Jesus talked about, not only did he talk about meditation and hypnosis, he talked about cannabis ointment. Now it's been twisted in there because it doesn't outright say. So I suggest that the Bible of the red writing is in blood because it has been twisted as far as what Jesus said. Remember he was talking about the whore? Everybody's stoning the whore. She's an adulteress. Because they judged her. They gave her a label. A hypnotic suggestion was put out there. right? And people went for it on behalf of God, because everybody wants to work for this God, this imaginary God, who would want the masses to stone other people or fear other people and not learn from other people. They get kind of stuck, and you kind of go backward in your own consciousness of Christ, because you have it, or you had it when you were born. Yeah, so I was visited by spirits, and I know you think that's crazy, and half of you probably hung up on me already. But I encourage you to stay and listen. For once in your damn life, sit down and shut up. Maybe I can do you some good. It's my story, and I just want to put it out there anyway. It's not even for you. You'll see. We're in a simulation, and that simulation is about to blow. And you're living it. Your life, my life, is living it. Every step of the way has been a deliberate path to here and now. Oh, I used to be against cannabis. I used to give my son such a hard time. Yeah, I never had it before 2016. But after I had this experience with a spirit world I didn't know existed, and my deceased son was there, and I had a life review, and they showed me my story, and they showed me how I chose my life, and I chose my role, and it's all me wanting this. And I can only imagine it could be the same for others. I don't know. Let me know in comments. I could be crazy. You're right. I should get help. It's a suggestion. You give me suggestions, which means you're hypnotists working for the big hypnotists, right? When you offer suggestions to other people, you're suggesting your hypnotist is the doctor. I was taught in my training who are the hypnotists. Doctor was one of the first ones, because not only is he an authority on these words and labels like cancer and rheumatoid arthritis and COPD and irritable bowel syndrome and whatever. I've had them all, and have suffered a great deal. You know that if you watch my channel. But, I continue to do my videos because I learned something that when I express what I'm going through out loud, it gets it out of me, right? And that's part of my routine too, is spitting up anything I cough up. I imagine, pretend, if you will, because it's all about the imagination. And I'm just guessing. Really, I am. I tried anything. So I decided to use my skills in clinical hypnotherapy right on myself, right here. And I start with the cough, and I cough up this, when it was I had pneumonia for the last couple of weeks. Very bad pneumonia on top of everything else, like stroke-like symptoms of some kind. Anyway, I got through it by using my imagination, using my self-hypnosis, because that's the only kind of hypnosis I do, and what I recommend. I'm not selling anything here. I don't want you to buy anything from me. I don't got anything for you. I'm a good mother. You go out and you figure it out and be better at it than me. That's what I would wish, for you to actually experience life and not just sit there at home in your big fat sofas with your Pringles and talk about how whey protein is so tasty, because you're full of shit. And your candy and your packaged salt shit. It just tastes like poison to me. But you know what? We all grow up, right, in different cultures. And what is good for my culture may not be good for yours, and what's good for your culture may not be good for me. No. But, I'm not saying, screw you. No, please come in, come in. Keep an open mind. Keep an open mind while you're watching me. I'm nuts. Totally nuts. Just ask everybody. Which, by the way, I want to tell you something. The more you judge somebody, the more they look like the people you... Like, I look terrible when I'm judged. Just horrible. I look in the mirror, I can't get my hair right. My face looks crooked. And I think, why did I get born with that nose? What is that nose doing? Oh, I know, I'm a clown. I'm a funny face. Because that's how I felt my whole life. Ashamed of my face. I really want to die, that's why I haven't shown my face. hello. I don't, oh, you didn't judge me. You look at my face. Ah, I'm ugly, guys. Totally freaking ugly as hell. I don't know how it works. That's how I feel. But I know that it's because of the judgment. I actually have to live it out, and so do the people, other people you judge. You know, they have to live out your fucking shit. And they have to look like that to you. And it's terrible feeling. Just terrible. That they look like that to you. I walk into a room and I know immediately I'm judged. I've had a lifetime of experience. Don't you know I wrote a book? Yes, it's true I did. It's called Evil Eyes, A Daughter's Memoir. It's at Amazon. I have reviews. You can look it up if you want. I'm not selling anything because I don't get any royals on it. I don't know who's getting the. I can't keep track. I don't. I don't know how it works. The number system here. There's too many zeros, and I can't deal with zeros. Zero isn't a number in our galaxy. I told you about that in one of my talks, remember? So, it doesn't exist for me. Only 1 to 9 exists for me. I keep it simple. Stupid. Sorry, I had to. But that's how you do these little acronyms thing. And I do it, for my hypnosis. This is how I'm getting to my point of how I'm healing from everything. My way is I use self-hypnosis, and I use my own neuro-linguistic programming by, coughing out and, spitting it out and imagining that every cough I'm suggesting in my own mind, right? Every cough is getting poison out of me, like that. And also, I've had a fever but have felt very cold. So I wear long johns in the hot summer. I've been wearing long johns. It's kept me very comfortable. And that's part of my hypnosis is imagining that, like, I'm taking care of myself now. And I'm taking control now. Because I was just tired of being hypnotized with these, doctors who are in charge of giving labels. I just had to stop for myself, right? So, I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying that's what I did. So, Anyway, I'm just trying to cover my ass here. And I remember I have a good long-term memory. Like, frick, since those beams of light came, it's like well, maybe it's not that, because my grandma had a memory like this, too. My grandma, would talk like me, too. She'd say, 40 years ago, was it on a Tuesday or a Thursday? Laura and I were walking down Elm Street, like that. She'd have every freaking detail. And that's why people get fed up with old people stories, because they can't believe they have all this detail. But my grandma didn't have any kind of dementia, and she lasted until she was 94. And I was assured I'd get 100 freaking years too. Actually, we all do. We get 100 years. How's that for a suggestion? And, but it could be suffering, or suffering could be optional. What? Yeah, you get to decide. You decide what master you're listening to, right? And you've decided to listen to the god of fear, the god of shame. You'd be ashamed to show up with this stuff, wouldn't you? Cigarettes and whatnot. But I'll tell you what this is, okay? And I told you I'd wait till the very end to tell you. This is my healing. On the left is a citrus full of vitamin A, C, and D. Extremely potent tonic juice, pure, and I take it with half a cup with orange juice. Next to it is pure chicken stock with bones, carrots, and celery, onion, bay leaves, salt, and water. I also use tobacco, and it's a suggestion that it's a poison blocker for me. And I use cannabis oil. Thank you. Thank you very much.